Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to look at the ECMWF 30-day model for today's second video. So we're going 4 weeks out with the ECMWF 30-day forecast model. We're going to look at temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next 4 weeks for the UK and the rest of Europe too. We can't show you mean sea level pressure or 500 millibar heights with this, unfortunately, but we can show you temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next 4 weeks, and you get a rough idea of what model will be forecasting in terms of the overall pattern. That's what we're doing for today's second video. Now, Storm Watch has just been released. There is a chance of some big showers and thunderstorms coming up later this afternoon and into this evening. So have a look at that to see where the greatest risk of storms and downpours will be through the rest of today. Going to be generally quite hit and miss, but if you get one, you will know about it. It could be really quite volatile. And then coming up later on this afternoon, we're going to have the week's 10-day video update. Because of Storm Watch, I think it's going to be a little bit later, so that probably won't be up till late this afternoon, but it will include all of the regular features. Right, so let's go on. We're going to start off by having a look at week 1 temperature anomaly. It's week 35 for the year, and it's week 1 for our forecast period, and it's taken us from the 26th of August to the 1st of September. And the last days of August will be generally warm or very warm. Most central parts of Europe and Northern Europe too, looking really, really warm here with temperature anomalies between 3 and 6 degrees on the scale. So most Scandinavia very warm, and down into many parts of Europe as well, right from France over to Ukraine. Generally it's around 3 to 6 degrees above average. Over in the far west, northwest, so for the UK and for Ireland, it is warmer than average, but we are a little bit nearer to average generally compared to most other parts of Europe. So actually we've got Ireland coming out around average. So that's just about the coolest place in Europe, other than, I suppose, southern parts of Spain and Portugal. And a little bit warmer than average for the rest of the UK. Starting off very hot at the moment, of course, but then gradually cooling down over the days ahead. Down into the Mediterranean, so northern parts of Spain looking quite warm. Most parts of the Med also looking quite warm, and into southeastern parts of Europe. But as I say, parts of Portugal, or most of Portugal, and southern and eastern parts of Spain, it's a little bit cooler than average there. Bear in mind, these are temperatures average, so it will still be pretty hot. It is still August after all, so even if the temperature anomaly is around a couple of degrees below average in southern Spain and North Africa, it will still be really quite hot indeed. This is how precipitation is looking in the weekend, 26th of August, 1st of September. Most parts of Europe are looking drier than average. So over in the west, from France through the Low Countries into Germany, excuse me, it's generally drier than average there. I mean, down the eastern side, it also looks drier than average too. The very far northwest of Europe looks a little bit wetter, so for Norway, particularly in towards Scotland and Ireland, wetter than average there. Parts of England and Wales a little bit drier than average, and into the Med looks quite unsettled actually. So from Italy through the central basin of the Med, including all of the holiday islands, Mallorca, Ibiza, Corsica, Sardinia, Malta, all of those areas are looking a bit wetter than average, and over into eastern parts of Spain too. The southeastern Med, including Greece and Turkey, a little bit on the drier than average side. So I think we can basically say that high pressure is dominating through many central and eastern parts of Europe, but low pressure with the jet stream is beginning to return from the Atlantic. I mean, what's going on down here is probably late summer thunderstorms kicking off through the Med. Let's have a look at week 2. It's week 36 for the year. It's week 2 for our forecast period. Takes us from the 2nd to the 8th of September. All change across the west of Europe, becoming cooler than average in the west, and is warmer than average in the east. So a proper east-west split there. So a real divide across Europe. Germany looks like it's generally marking the boundary. So anywhere to the east of Germany, and Sweden also looking generally warmer than average there. Especially so over in the far east, up towards the western, up to the border with Western Russia. In the west, it's cooler than average, so Ireland and the UK are forecast to be below average by 1 to 3 degrees. Much of France also coming out below average. Low countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, below average there. And then down into Spain and Portugal, also cooler than average. So a definite east-west split between warmer than average conditions in the east of Europe and cooler than average conditions in the west. We mark that boundary for Mediterranean as well, so most central and western parts of the Med look quite cool, and then in the eastern Med, particularly again through Greece and up to the Balkans, it is generally looking warmer than average there. Precipitation anomaly shows becoming more unsettled too through this first week of September. So the dry and average conditions are being moved into the extreme east and southeast of Europe. Overall, above average precipitation being forecast through most parts of Europe, particularly the central parts, and then down into the central Mediterranean. A little bit dry on average to western Portugal, so that's where the Azores high is going to be, you would have thought. So it looks like overall we've got high pressure down here, high pressure being pushed into the east and southeast of Europe and elsewhere, becoming more unsettled with low pressure breaking through along with the jet stream through the first week of September. Week 37 for the year, week 3 for our forecast period is the 9th to 15th of September. Warmer than average in the far east and northeast of Europe around here. Otherwise, we're beginning to lose signal, but signal is beginning to weaken, but I think we can say that overall, probably a bit on the cooler than average side out in the west, if anything. So this could still be quite a cool week, even into the second week of September. The signal is weakening the further out we're going, but we still more or less seem to have that east-west divide, I would have thought. So Eastern Europe quite warm, Western Europe potentially average or cooler than average. Precipitation anomalies are also weakening, but again, I think we have hints here, but it's quite unsettled. Northern Europe, particularly Scandinavia, looking unsettled. So these central parts of Europe also looking unsettled. I don't think there's much change in the pattern overall from week 1 to week 2 in September. So the ECM looks like it's hinting, anyway, at a rather cool and unsettled first half to September, if anything. And then finally, we get through to week 38 for this year. It's week 4 for our forecast period. It's going to take us from the 16th, 22nd of September. Very, very weak signals by now, as we often find. We do see that there is a weak signal, but it's a relatively strong signal for the southeast of Europe to be bit warmer than average. So it looks like the warmth is in the southeast of Europe and potentially in the east too. Elsewhere, there's no real signals, so there's nothing really to go on there. But if it's warm in the southeast of Europe, it does tend to be cooler in the north and west. So you tend to get that southeast-northwest divide. So maybe it could be a bit cooler up in the northwest. Precipitation anomalies, again, they're looking very, very weak. These northern and central parts of Europe, as we go into the third week of September, overall are looking rather on the wetter than average side. Possibly hints at becoming a bit drier in the west. So for France, a little bit drier than average. Some parts of the UK also, it's a really weak signal, but some parts a little bit drier than average. So maybe that hints at high pressure building in. There's no particular sign of warmth coming in with that high pressure. But again, the signals are so weak there as we get through to week 4 that it is almost impossible to decipher much of any use with that. So I think we focus on the first half of September with this, and the first half of September, well, the end of August is looking generally very hot through most parts of Europe. It is becoming cooler in the far west and northwest. Starting to turn a little bit more unsettled. That's the first week of August. The final week of August, I should say. Then into the first half of September, turning cooler and more unsettled really is the signal, I think, particularly that first week of September, which possibly lasts into the second week of September too. But don't get through into the second half of September, then everything looks like it's pretty much up for grabs as the signals are so weak. Right, that's it for the ECMWF 30-day look at it. It's just a snapshot of what Molly's shown. It could all look very, very different next week. So we'll do it all over again next Tuesday. Come back later on for the week to 10-day video update. That'll be on the homepage at Gazwellits. And then also don't forget to check out Stormwatch if you would like to do that. See where the risk of downpours and thunderstorms are. But that's all for now. And thanks for watching.